Welcome to the Paul Chandler Show, everyone. I'm your host, Paul Chandler. In tonight's episode, we're going to be using the Padzilla again, and we're going to be looking at a coronary angioplasty being performed. Now, don't worry, we decided for the sake of everybody's knowledgeousness, we're doing an animation video again, not a live video of a surgery being performed. But it still shows all the same effects of a coronary angioplasty being performed. So using Padzilla, while the procedure is going on, we'll be seeing what the doctors are doing, and I'll be explaining as the doctors are doing the procedure, so that way us as coders and auditors, we know what the doctor's doing when we're reading it on our computer screen or on paper while we're doing the coding or auditing. So stay tuned and we'll be right back, and I'll be using the Padzilla, and we'll be looking at a coronary angioplasty being performed. Welcome back, everyone. So tonight we're going to be using the lovely Padzilla again, and we're going to be looking at a coronary angioplasty procedure being performed, and while it's going on, I'll be explaining what the doctor's doing. So starting out with the coronary angioplasty, so in this case we have the computer animated video of the patient, and we see the heart inside, and the problem is that we have the angioplasty is that when the blood flow is going through, there's blockage in the blood vessel that occurs, either through plaque or through blood clots. So what the doctor has to do is what's called the angioplasty procedure. Procedure itself, it takes again between about 30 minutes to 3 hours, depending on how many blood vessels they have to do. And the heart is monitored, and before the procedure actually begins, the patient's getting an intravenous or an IV sedative. So first, the needle will be placed. In this case, it's down at the distal end of the patient's arm, because they need to get to the heart. So first, a tracing catheter, the fluoroscopy tracer goes in, and then at this point, then the catheter itself is going around the scope. So then they put the tracing in first, and the catheter goes around it so he knows where it needs to go into. Then the tracing is removed, and now then the catheter is placed inside the heart. But then at this point, they'll do a dye into the blood vessels to locate right here, for example, where the block actually occurs. Because just like we have the blood vessels, the branches, every time there's a fork in the road, the doctor is not going to get on the wrong part. So then in this case, we have the plaque or the blood clots, and see the small tunnel there, not enough blood is able to go through. So the tracing fluoroscope will go in first, and then the catheter will have surrounding the tracing scope. And then as you see, the balloon is here, it'll be small, then inflate it, it'll go deflate it and inflate back and forth a few times. So that way then it opens back up the blood vessel that was either damaged due to plaque or due to blockage. And then it opens up, so now we have a good path where the blood can flow through, or in certain cases though, a stent may need to be placed. Now in this case, the doctor's going to do a coronary stent angioplasty. Same concept, where you have the guiding tube in, and then the catheter goes in, but instead though, wrapped around the catheter is this wire mesh. So then when the doctor then gets the mesh into the place between the blockage or the plaque, then the doctor expands the balloon, and then the mesh there, how it's secured, it stays once it's open, leaving the permanent tunnel for the blood vessel to be able to have enough blood to go through. Now, post-treatment, we have to remember, though, that the doctor has to place a pressure bandage applied to prevent future bleeding that could possibly occur, and also to monitor the patient for any chest pains or any signs of the possible bleeding. Now, depending on the severity of the procedure, the patient can be discharged on the same day or afterwards, following a few-day visit to the hospital. And that's how a doctor performs a coronary angioplasty. So I do hope you enjoyed that video and be able to link for coders and auditors what we're seeing in documentation to what the doctor actually did. And don't forget to check out our new website for the new organization, the Specialty Coder Institute. We're happy to announce that earlier this month, we launched a new credentialing organization where all of our exams are all fill in the blank, just like real world coding is, and passing is a 90%, just like a Medicare audit is. So check out specialtycoder.com if you're interested in another credential to begin your future career growth. And I do thank you for watching this episode of the Paul Chandler Show, and have an awesome rest of your night.